so that kids can,
We're talking, you sit down. Where do you want to be? You want this chair? I'll sit here. Okay. So tell it, I mean, because this will help. I'll be able to go home and repeat it to Charlotte. Acupuncture for memory. What's
Yeah, well, I don't know, see, you tell them that, and then you're lying there on the, what is it, the thing that you're lying on, and then the person says, well, okay, and then she'll put the needles in where she thinks you need to have it done.
Well, where is that? And for memory, what? Just keep talking.
Oh,
Make sure
well,
we're
she
all-
forgot, I mean.
She forgot.
She was really good at that. No, it wasn't.
Okay, Baird, you need to come in. Move over.
Harold wants the whole picture. You gotta be careful. He told me he's gonna go to Hollywood, and his daughter's gonna set him up.
Okay, now we're all in there, but when Jan comes, it'll be good if she can get the video.
Right.
If she comes. Okay, go ahead. So where in fact, they just, because I've had acupuncture and they, for pain kind of stuff.
A lot in the heads. There were a lot in the heads, but there were also in my leg, and I had a thing I did, and in my arm, one in the arm, and they're basically around the back of the head up here. But I don't know, I don't know what.
You can tell the difference, it really.
Well, it's only been once, and I can't say that but there is a little bit of improvement. I go once a month, so it's going to take a while. But I went there 4 times initially for the anxiety, and that really decreased over time.
and where do the needles go for anxiety?
Well, they were a lot in my feet, and also up in my head. Not too much in the extremities.
What are you thinking about? We started these tapes. When did we do the first one? 4 years? 5 years ago?
Probably 5 years ago.
Yeah. So, an obvious thing is, do we look any different than we looked then? And we don't know until we look at the tape.
I've never looked at them.
Do we look any older? We can operate the camera better. That's certainly an improvement.
Well,
it won't take as much time.
That was probably our very best video,
Yeah,
our first
right.
one. Is it going now? Is it?
As far as I can tell, it is. I don't see any red light, but I don't think you see a red light on this side, do you?
Are you saying it's going right now?
Yeah, it's going right now.
Oh, I didn't understand
that's
that
good.
part.
And life has changed for us. We're all well, I don't think you talking about memory problems. But obviously, Charlotte has memory problems. Baird's concerned about his.
Right.
You're not putting stickies up on the wall anymore.
No, that's true.
But then you have a wife.
Yes, I have a younger wife.
I was going to say he forgot to put the sticks up.
Yeah, right.
Jan, you're coming. There's your
There she is.
Jan.
Yeah.
Rolling.
If you're if you're willing, you could sit in that chair over there and just lift the camera up. You can be right on the tripod. You don't have to even unplug anything. And then the zoomer, you know where it is?
No, I
Oh,
don't
well.
know where the zoomer is.
Okay, now.
You want to be zoomed on?
Well,
Isn't this cute?
If you do decide you want to focus on somebody who's speaking, this is it right here. You just move that, and you can turn the camera and pick it up. See?
I'm no Jamie.
Yeah, oh, you got it. You got it?
Ooh, that's a little fast.
Yeah.
Should you zoom slowly or?
Well, whatever. You just,
Wait a minute.
just
Wait.
hold this thing in your hand if you want, and then just aim it. And,
Okay, but now it's lost you guys entirely. It's
Oh.
zoomed.
well, this is good. This is our best video, and we couldn't operate. Oh, there's Baird.
Yes, that's zoomed close. Now how do I come back?
Just go the
Good
opposite
morning,
direction.
everybody.
But,
There, got it? Oh, yes.
oh, I see.
There.
I see. Okay.
And if you have trouble seeing this, you just turn that. Okay.
Harold, shouldn't you have a nice sweater on like everybody else?
Yes, she has,
Too late.
there are 2 reds and a blue here. Whatever that.
Yeah. We're flanking.
We were talking about, if anything, the camera looks like it's tilted over to the side.
It does. How does that?
Whoa!
Well, you may have to just hold it.
No, that looks good, that looks
That
good.
looks good.
No, it's moving.
It's on that doily, and that's why it's slipping.
Doily?
The doily.
All right. How do you start it?
It's already.
It's going.
It's going.
It's going right now.
Oh.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Isn't there a little blinking going on in the
Uh-huh.
upper right? I mean, it's,
You are going to edit then?
yeah, later. It'll go on a disc before we
Okay.
send it for publication.
Yeah, we'll send out the Christmas gifts.
I can hardly wait. So for 5 minutes, you guys have said nothing?
No,
No,
we
we
said
said
a
We
lot.
said a lot already.
Like this, Bill.
We talked about, memory.
We talked, we were talking about whether 5 years ago we started this and how we wanted to, did we look any different? What was the first consideration?
But we can't remember.
How are we spending our time? How do you spend your time, Harold? You're retired. Are you still at the law school?
I teach at the law school, and on the days that I don't teach, I spend a lot of time futzing.
What does that mean?
It means I have no way to explain to anybody exactly how I spent my day.
Well, who wants to know?
Janet.
Oh, you mean when you come home?
Oh, okay.
So when you have an office there in the law school, still?
Well, yeah,
You have one in the law firm as well.
no, well,
They took that away.
yeah, they took that away, but they, but on the days that I don't teach, I don't go down there. And so Jan is away all day, and so then when she comes home in the evening, she wants to know how I spent my day.
Well, last time we talked about this, it was summer, it was gardening, and you were not helping with the garden or something, or Jan wanted you to help with the garden. Or maybe she wanted you to stay away from the garden, I don't know which it was.
I think it was probably staying away from the garden. And I don't remember that.
Well, how do you spend your day when you're not at the law school? What are you doing?
Well, I can't really explain to you. It's amazing. There's a nap that's involved.
Mhm.
That takes up quite a bit of time. And, and preparation for lunch, and then lunch itself. I don't know. It just
Do you do work on the computer a lot?
well, I work on the computer. No, but I do Facebook, and
Oh, you have Facebook?
I have Facebook,
You get up
and I
at
do
4
crosswords.
o'clock,
Yes.
crossword puzzle.
Right.
That's
Do a
the
lot
first
of people Facebook you?
I wouldn't say a lot of people do, but some.
You're not on Facebook.
No, I'm not gonna be on that.
Why is that?
Because I want to be anonymous. I don't want anybody to know who I am.
Is that seriously?
That's right, I think it's very dangerous.
What would happen? What's the danger?
I don't, because I have a lot of people I taught, see, they could go berserker, I can run into people at high-ends, which is fine, but I don't need to have, over 1,000 or so students I have. Oh, Mr. Weir, I just don't want to do that.
But every time you go in a restaurant with us, there's always people coming up.
Well, I like my privacy. I don't think you have privacy if you go on here.
But of your friends, who I don't know who they are, other than
I don't
myself,
I can see.
I was in a meeting,
There's that problem.
but I went to this Master Gardeners meeting, and it was about passing the levee. There was a levee down in McConnellsville. And somebody said, well, we ought to use Facebook and Twitter and so on to alert people to it. And so the leader of the meeting said, well, I don't know how many people are on it. So how many of you are, and there were like 40 people in the room. 1 or 2 hands went up.
Yeah,
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there weren't many people using Facebook at all.
I think it's for another generation myself.
But so of your friends, your age, there's nobody other than Harold and me then who's on there. What about Sarah?
There's my wife. Yes,
Sarah's on there.
Sarah's on there.
And her friends.
She puts it on there, but she's very careful to edit it. She does a lot of things. Yeah, I can't text very well with the things because of spelling being problems. They can all text and all these little LOLs or all this kind of stuff. I'm not very good. I'm just not. I don't know whether it's the dyslexia or whether it's not, but I'm just not interested in that. I can't do it quickly. She does all these little things.
Because you have a keyboard, you could just use.
The keyboard is not the answer. I push the wrong buttons or, you make it sound simple, but it's not for me.
Couldn't you, if you wanted to say, just a simple sentence, this is where I am, and you just do hunt and peck, couldn't you do it?
Not very easily.
Well, see, here's the concern I have. At first I wasn't on it, and then about a year and a half ago, I was doing these daily sketches, and so I thought, and I have an objective to put together a book, which I'm working on, but I thought, well, I'll put it on Facebook because then I'll get feedback from at least the 25 people who are called friends on the thing. Jan is on there, is one of the people. And so anyway, I post a sketch. Every morning I get up about 4:30, and the first thing I do, Harold's
Excuse me?
At 4:30.
4:30?
Yeah.
Is that your normal time to get up?
Yeah,
Why?
I get up. I just,
The cow needs to be milked, or?
no, I don't, the chickens may sit there till 10 o'clock before I go out. I've always wanted to wake up at that time, but raising the family and working, it just wasn't, so just my natural time, I wake up.
You know what you do when you?
And I go upstairs and I feed the dog, and I go upstairs and I sketch, I draw, I make a sketch for the day, whatever it is, and it's usually related to something that happened the day before or somehow relevant.
And are you working off a photo that you've taken?
Usually photos, I'm working off
I
of
didn't
photos.
know you did this.
Yeah. So I put it on there, and it says something about what I was, in a sense, it's very brief, I don't really talk about what I did the day before, but anybody who looks at them would know, have a rough idea of what I'm doing. So that'd be a way I'd communicate with you if you were looking at it, but you're not looking at it.
I'm not looking at it. So you're not communicating.
So I'm not communicating with you, you're not on the list. So anyway, so that's my use for it.
Okay, well, that's very good.
So it'd be nice if you, Harold's on there sometime, but Jan's on more.
Right.
But, so if I put something on yours, do you see it?
Oh, yeah, no, I see it. I mean, every
Yeah.
time you do a sketch, I see it.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't I see it?
Because you don't look at Facebook.
Oh, I have to become a member of Facebook in order to see it.
Sure.
yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm not gonna see it.
Yeah, so that's the way that is.
Don't you think that invades your privacy?
No, not.
Because other people can just get on there and see all this stuff?
It's restricted. I don't understand all the limitations, but if somebody wants to tell me something, they can email, something they don't want to go. And I don't know if, maybe Jan knows, if or Harold knows, if you respond to something I've put up there, down below will be all these people who said like it, or what is that, or whatever. Now, and I don't know whether all people can see that bit of it.
Well, I think all the friends of us know that we said something.
But if
yours.
you send a message specifically to someone, and there's a way to do that, to say message, then only that person is going to
I
see
think
the
that's
message. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I didn't know that.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily.
What? Go ahead. No, John.
necessarily.
What?
You can set it so that only that person sees the message. Some people don't bother.
And you also can say whether the person's a close friend or an acquaintance. But what difference would it make if you said acquaintance? What would they not see then? That a friend would see.
Depends on what you don't want acquaintances to see.
So you can specify that. Okay. So there's controls as well.
Can I ask
don't
a
know.
question?
Sure.
There's like streams of light beams coming down from each one of these lights that's showing up in the screen. Do you
Mhm.
want that? It looks
Well,
like stripes. Will
We
that
can move,
show
we can
up?
Turn off.
I mean, is that going to show up in your video?
I don't know. It might be.
Do you want to look at it?
Why don't you press the white button that's sticking out on the back? That'll stop it.
So I want my face, a little block thing out here for me.
Yes, because you don't want anyone to know who you are.
Okay.
We're just the boys of winter.
Boys of Winter, yes. Well, that was it, huh?
That's all. I think I want to push Facebook all the time. So come up with a topic, somebody.
Somebody's phone is buzzing.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what. On the radio today, somebody said there was a quiz on Michael Feldman.
Oh, I love Michael Feldman.
The two most popular ages that people report they're happiest. One was like 19, and then he said, "What's the other age?" It's from somewhere between there and 70. Well, it turns out that he's, according to somebody's survey, that the age that people report having been the happiest in their adult life was 69. And so I guess I thought I'd ask that of our question. If you said, how happy are you now, and was there another time of life that you were happier? How would you answer that? And when was that? When was your happiest time, and how happy now are you to be where we are, where you are? I'm 74, and you guys are a year or two younger.
Well, certainly 69 was a good year for me. Being retired, being married, but being engaged at the law school and having a lot of flexibility and not having child-rearing responsibilities and not being anxious about the future because the future is behind me. I'd say
Do you believe
69 was
that?
pretty good.
Is the future behind you?
Well, I'm overstating it, but I'm not anxious about the future as someone would be when you're 15 or 23 or wondering what your station in life is. So yeah, it works for me. Would you say 69 works for you?
I don't know, when he said that on the show, for some reason I thought 41, and I was trying to think, well, why was 41 to be such a happy year? I think I was jogging at the time, and I probably was doing more outdoor stuff, which I like to do, but probably that. But I would say now, so I don't really know, well, 69 doesn't ring a bell. I had this whole thing about, I like round even years better. Although 75 is coming. So my brother calls up and he tells me all the people who died, this year. He's 79.
Being back home in Kansas City?
No, he lives in Washington, and I don't have any friends who've died in the last year or two. So it's not a downer for me in terms of age. I think right now I'm very happy with it. Charlotte and I were just talking about that today. That I like getting up at 4:30. I don't know whether I'll ever get. It's a book of days that's partially for Charlotte's memory, so she knows what happened, the day before and the past year. And I have enough ambition and enough ego that I think, okay, maybe somebody else would like it, so I'll put it together and see if it can be published. So that motivates me to do that.
And your sketches would be part of that
All
stuff?
the sketches would be central to it, But the physical stuff, I suppose if I said what am I not particularly pleased about is I know that my physical limitations are much greater. I don't move a 20-foot ladder around. I don't go out and pound on something that I had rotator cuff surgery a year ago. And so I'm very much more limited. And when I go to the exercise room, 4 years ago, I was lifting weight up 150 pounds or so, pressing it. I don't do any of that now. I ride the exercise bike. I ride miles and miles 3 times a week, and I do some other stuff, core exercises, but all of that because I don't want to hurt myself, and I know how to avoid hurting myself. How about you? Are you hurting? So anyway, so I like it now. Yeah. How about you?
I don't have an age. The best time was when I met Sarah. Because before that, my life was pretty much a drudgery. I had to work because I couldn't spell. And then from that point on to now, it's just been great. I mean, I did things I thought I would never do. For example, having children. I never thought I would get married. I didn't date at all through high school or college. Because I didn't know anybody. And I couldn't imagine, I don't know how I ever became a teacher and taught, and I did, in a wonderful school district with these great kids. And as I said, I saw this girl in the market the other day. And, oh, Mr. Wade, I'm going on to get a psychology degree. I mean, it's just wonderful, the whole thing. And then have children and grandchildren. I never ever thought of that because all the rest of it was such drudgery. I worked to just get enough so I could pass and all that kind of stuff. So I don't have a particular time. And I like it now because now I've got time to go out and rake the leaves. Before I had to get it done because I had to do this and this and this. But it's fun to rake the leaves and go for a walk and run when I want to. Have the spare time. It's a great opportunity. And I'm in good shape. And I think that's because of the doctors who helped me and also because of the running I've done for years and years and years within limits.
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't any one particular age. I like the age I'm at now. And I remember the other ones very clearly, but this one, all that, from the time I met her, everything went well.
And don't I recall from the time you met her till the time you married her, it was like months, just a few months?
No, about a year.
All right, 12 months. So you knew right away.
I didn't date very much, so I didn't know a whole lot of people. And she's just a very inspiring person, so, yeah. I left Johns Hopkins and went to a camp, a church camp. I didn't go to church. I didn't know any of this stuff. And we had to talk to these little kids, and I was able to do it. I never did anything like that. I mean, you would think I had some background, but I had nothing.
And then the priest's daughter.
Yes, I mean, it was like, what does this, why is this happening? I never questioned it. It's just great. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Do you have something like that where you had this experience and then it just carried on like you didn't expect it was ever going to happen?
No. You're a poster child for gratitude.
Well,
I'm very grateful.
I am. Well, it turned out so different from where it was. It's just drudgery. The whole thing was. I went to this one school in the summer. And I was the only person in the study hall in the afternoon doing the schoolwork. It was hot. But I was scared to death that I wasn't going to pass. Because I had failed the test to get in there, they said, I don't know if you can come here, but why don't you come and try the summer school and we'll see how it goes. How'd you like that for your summer school?
Mm.
Good Lord. And we drove by there a couple of weeks ago, and the school is so different. It's co-ed now, all that kind of stuff. And that old building was there, and I was in, and all I could think of was, thank God I didn't have to do that.
Was that in Buffalo? Was that?
No, this is the one in
New Jersey?
In East Hampton, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
It's very lucky.
Do you relate to it? Is there a point in your life?
I can't think of an epiphany like that. I mean, that's remarkable. Like, boom. No,
I remember you saying one time that being a lawyer and the type of lawyer that you are really just kind of came naturally. There really wasn't anything else. You kind of just flowed.
it was all
right
kind of
into
an
it.
easy flow because a lot of that getting into being a lawyer was just because I didn't know what else to do. And as it turned out, I thought a lawyer was being in a courtroom and being litigious, and yet I thought that would be cool. But I soon learned that no, actually, in real life, that's not a fun thing for me. And then I just flowed right into Happy Law, where I helped people and helped people borrow money, and then they gave me a part of what they borrowed, and everybody was happy. They found it painless because they just borrowed the money.
Is there anyone in your family who was a
No. It was luck. It was just so I have gratitude for that, certainly.
Mine, I've become more grateful over the years, but when I think about how it all began, I was just a so-so student, probably all until I got to graduate school. And I remember I used to sit in assemblies, and they had National Honors Awards,
Right.
and thinking that maybe I'm going to get one. And I knew full well I wouldn't make it. I thought, well, one day they'll call my name. So anyway, so in high school, what people said to me was that I should go to Hollywood. That's what the football coach said.
Really?
Because I was the president of the pep club, and there were 1,500 members, and every Friday I entertained 1,500 students.
Really?
Yes, I put on skits, and I did, did funny stuff, So from that, and then I got recruited all the time to be in fraternities and all this kind of stuff, which I didn't do in college. But so I went off to college, liberal arts, and I never could figure out exactly what would be good. I knew I didn't go to Hollywood. And, but that was such a happy time doing that. It really fit me well. And, well, I had a lot of stage fright kind of stuff. But anyway, that fit me well. So then I became a social worker really because of Charlotte's influence. I couldn't think of anything else. I was in sociology in graduate school. And I liked one summer we went to Chicago and did street work. And I liked it.
That's Saul
Linsky. So I became a community organizer and ultimately I became a therapist. And as years have passed, I've grown more confident and I think I found my niche, which really was working with children and teenagers. And so I enjoyed it and began to think that I really was good at it. And so I have felt much better, but it was kind of like just random chance in a sense that had I not been Charlotte, I probably wouldn't be doing this, what I did for my career. It's just kind of and I think maybe it's true for a lot of people, it's not really a deliberate choice what you end up doing. It's kind of a combination of events, that happen in your life, But for you, it sounded like it really was kind of a choice. You just kind of said, this fits me and this is what I'll do.
Well, it was a choice, but I was falling into these choices. It wasn't like I knew what all the choices were and said, okay, that one. It was just things come and you say, oh, okay, I'll try that. Let me see if that works. And it did. But you never know.
You never know. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Punch the white button. Is the camera on?